Hello everyone! So the UK government has now decided that it doesn't actually enjoy being a part of the civilized world and instead has chosen to take away the rights of its citizens to speak their mind. Now, I wouldn't care about this personally. I don't live in the UK. I don't think most people would care about this because most people don't live in the UK. But, unfortunately, the UK being stupid is now directly affecting the rest of Europe, US, and it's in fact even reaching as far as Asia and Africa, because a lot of the websites are taking what the UK has done to its own laws, this absolute travesty, and for some reason it's applying it to everybody else.
I mean this with no exaggeration. It's not just lip service, nor is it just some phony baloney machismo from me. If I lived in the UK, I swear with my hand on a stack of Bibles, I would leave right now.
Honestly, I can't imagine why anyone wouldn't. With what's been happening, it's insane. And that's not just to talk about the current situation with all of the censorship, it's also the rising crime rates, the rising rape rates, the rising murder rates, and honestly, a lot of rates rising that you really don't want rising.
A classic move straight from the playbook of John Madden. You target porn because it's a very easy target. Most people don't want kids to have access to porn, obviously. There are innumerable problems with porn.
Exactly. The problem is that most people forget that the jump from banning all porn to banning all dissenting opinions is, unfortunately, closer to an ant's step than an actual adult man jumping. Talk about a small step for man, a giant leap backwards for mankind.
So, it's very easy messaging to have be the big boogeyman here that you need to fight against. We gotta stop it now, we have to act, we have to do something, people are dying, they're collapsing,
Honestly, if I had to live without seeing this, I would die as well.
They were able to get this through, and it was a Trojan horse that had so many consequential problems attached to it. A lot of really yucky, bad, awful hemorrhoids on the Online Safety Act. And now that it's in effect, the citizens recognize just how butt-fucked they are by the government, getting their guts rearranged here, because the government is elbow deep in everyone's ass, trying to get you to give over all of your identification.
This is exactly why it should just straight up be illegal for you to put a ton of laws together into one single bill, and then you just name it Happy Bears Forever, and then the bill is actually like legalize feeding homeless people to bears. And it's like, what? You don't want bears to be happy? What's wrong with you?
So it's not just verifying your age to access porn. You have to verify your age to access a multitude of services. This includes things like Reddit, Twitter, Discord to use certain features, Wikipedia, some other forms, and today,
we cannot let the kids have access to Wikipedia, bro! They're gonna fucking die, bro!
It's only ever been about control and mass surveillance. This is all about censoring what you have access to so the government can constantly track and monitor your activities online, because they are requiring you to give your ID to access anything at all that can even be moderately argued could have harmful content on it. Fucking Spotify. It is out of control.
I'll be honest. After listening to some Nicki Minaj, I cannot disagree with the whole porn ban on Spotify, at least for some songs. I really do think that you should not be able to listen to fucking WAP if you're not at least 16 years of age. The problem comes with that's really not up to the government to decide. I mean, if you have irresponsible parents, that's just an L on you. The government should not step in. Like, let me have what advantages I was born with, bro.
If you want to overturn the Online Safety Act, you are on the side of predators. It is as simple as that. By the way, here's a fun little nugget of lore about Peter Kyle, the patriot of protection over there. He allegedly voted against a statutory national inquiry into grooming gangs and group-based child sexual exploitation.
So what you're saying is Peter Kyle is, in fact, on the side of the predators.
This is the biggest step forward in child safety since the internet was created. Most children do not go looking for harmful and dangerous and pornographic content.
I mean, you've clearly never spoken to a 13-year-old chilling in the playground with mobile data on his phone.
Everybody who's out there thinking of using VPNs, let me just say to you directly, verifying your age keeps a child safe, keeps children safe in our country.
That's right, Mr. Adult Man in Portugal. If you use a VPN, you are in fact making children in the UK more unsafe. Yes, because that is something that this whole... I struggle to call it legislation, because really it's just an overreach of biblical proportions. But the problem with this legislation is the fact that, unfortunately, it's not just affecting the UK, even though it's technically just a law that was passed in the UK. It is affecting people in Europe, people in the US. Hell, it's affecting people in Asian and African countries that are all over Twitter complaining because all of a sudden they can't see their Gooner material, even though they are, in fact, legal adults. So what's the fucking deal here, right?
Wait, what's that? You don't want to give over your ID or do our facial scans in order to earn permission to the content? What? Well, you don't want to be a good noodle? Okay, well here's what's going to happen. Your account's going to get deactivated. You cannot use Spotify if you don't meet the minimum age requirements for the market you're in. If you cannot confirm you're old enough to use Spotify, your account will be deactivated and eventually deleted. If your account was deactivated due to an inaccurate age estimation, you can look for the email in your inbox which allows you to reactivate your account within 90 days of deactivation and then go through ID verification. If we still can't confirm you're old enough to use Spotify, or if no action is taken within 7 days of reactivation, your account will be permanently deleted.
Which is pretty funny considering that they probably have accounts there that are of, drinking age at this point. So the question really is, why do you need my ID for an account that is already so old that realistically I should be able to be counted as an adult, right? Like, if Newgrounds was able to figure this out, why the hell can Spotify somehow not? Why can Twitter somehow not? YouTube, Twitch, all of these platforms. How the hell are you not figuring this out? And by the way, I included Twitch because I guarantee this is going to reach them as well eventually, if it hasn't already.
Mass surveillance, control, and censorship. It's now at our doorstep here. A place many have called home. YouTube. They've just announced they're rolling out AI in the US to detect if users are actually under 18, ignoring whatever the account's stated age is, and will apply restrictions to users it suspects are teens. And if it suspects that you are not over 18, it will restrict what you have access to, and the only way to overturn that is by providing identification.
Keep in mind, this is the exact same system that has created innumerable problems for innumerable creators in the past. And yet, somehow we're supposed to trust that, oh yeah, it's gonna be fine now.
When YouTube determines a user is teen or preteen, the site will disable personalized advertising, activate digital well-being features, and put stricter content filters as well as behavioral restrictions into place.
That's right, kids. You will no longer be able to access naked yoga, or, even worse, you will no longer be able to find dildo tryouts on YouTube if the AI suspects that you are a child.
Wow, what saints. You get the privilege of providing your identification or your biometric data to YouTube in order to prove that you are actually over 18.
I think that at this point, if we're really going this way, okay, I want people in jail if our data gets leaked. That's the consequence. Because if we're going to go this way and you're going to just demand that we self-identify, or you're going to demand that we essentially dox ourselves for the benefit of these companies, if I give my email to someone, to a company for whatever reason, and that email ends up in the hands of somebody else, I want somebody's ass. I want them swinging in front of 300 people. Because if you're going to go this far, we need to go just as far, if not farther.
The entire landscape of social media has changed so much over the last, like, decade, like, drastically, where I do think it is downright dangerous and detrimental for kids to just have unlimited access to things like Twitter, for example. So, like, I do think that it's not exactly a good thing to just have kids making social media accounts and just fucking rotting away on them.
Yeah, but it's not up to the government to make that decision. It's up to the parents. It's up to the government to inform parents, hey, you shouldn't do that. You know, that's bad for your kid. But it is, at the end of the day, up to the specific parents to decide whether or not they're going to be bad parents. Because that is still your, unfortunately, right. You have the right to be a piece of shit. Straight up. Like, as ridiculous as it sounds, we still have that. You should not be allowed to take that away just because, oh, it's for the greater good. You know how many horrible, terrible atrocities were committed in the name of the greater good? The greater good is easily responsible for billions of people dying.
Like, no matter how you spin it, it should always come back to the parents. And what YouTube did initially, and what I thought was the right direction, was having a separate platform specifically for that age group, YouTube Kids. So that way, that group, those kids, would not be going to main YouTube. They would be on that platform, which is safe for them. And the parents' responsibility would be ensuring that they are on YouTube Kids, not main YouTube. But now what's happening is every company is now putting in these age verification checks which require ID or biometric data, which, as we're seeing unfold in real time rapidly, leads to just basically control and mass surveillance. You could easily just be flagged as an under 18 account, and then, well, if you want to keep using your account and have access to all the content and features that you've been used to, gonna need to fork over that ID, or at least show us your face. Give us some of that sweet, sweet biometric data currency, please.
And that's exactly the problem. You have now created an incentive for YouTube and other massive media corporations to purposefully misunderstand the type of thing that you want to watch just so that they can pretend like you're a child. And that way, they can now get your information, and that way, they can now get their hands on your sweet, sweet biometric data, which they can now sell at a profit. You know, that thing that they've been doing for years now. You could probably count on one hand the amount of times that a corporation has chosen to do the right thing as opposed to the profitable thing. And honestly, the fact that right now the profitable thing is for them to actively demand your identification, and they not only have the carrot in their hand, which is the website that you want to access, they also have the stick, which is the government that is now threatening to jail you if you're in the UK. And if you think that this is only going to stay in the UK, you're wrong. It's already hitting the US as well, and it's already hitting Europe as well, even though no laws of such kind have been passed yet. But they might in the future, but they haven't been passed yet. But yet we're still suffering the same changes. This is ridiculous. If you have a platform bigger than mine, I'm a fucking nobody, alright? But I'm still talking about this. And if you have a real platform like Moist Critical does, with, you know, in his case, 17 million subscribers, pulling millions of views every time he turns on the camera, yeah, you need to be talking about this. You need to be talking about this because this affects you as much as it affects anybody else. But that's all I have to say about this. So, yeah, I'm going to see you guys next time. Have a good one. Cheers.